Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the final countdown. The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Are you ready? It's showtime.
Welcome to the Conservative Viewpoint, where the truth always matters. I'm your host, Charlie, the Country Conservative. I am your trusted source for hard-hitting conservative news. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Good evening, America, and welcome. You've tuned in to the Conservative Viewpoint Weeknight Podcast, and I'm your host, Charlie, the Country Conservative. On tonight's episode, we are diving headfirst into a whirlwind of chaos that seems to be sweeping across the world. From the border crisis to the alarming rise in crime, it feels like common sense has taken a back seat to madness. Our streets are less safe, our borders less secure, our values are under constant attack. The very fabric of our society is being stretched to the limits, and it's time we take a stand. Look around. Our cities are plagued by lawlessness. Our schools are indoctrinating rather than educating. And our freedoms are being eroded by overreaching government mandates. The mainstream media is complicit, spinning narratives that distort the truth and silence dissenting voices. It is as if the world has turned upside down, and those who dare to speak out are labeled as extremists. But we won't be silenced. And tonight, we'll be breaking down the latest headlines, exposing the truths behind the media spin, and giving voice to the silent majority who are fed up with the insanity. We'll discuss the policies that are failing us, the leaders who are letting us down, and the solutions that can bring us back from the brink. The Conservative Viewpoint is more than just a podcast. It's a movement to reclaim our country, restore our values, and ensure a brighter future for the next generation. So buckle up, folks. It's going to be a wild ride as we navigate through the craziness and fight to restore sanity to our great nation. Stay tuned, stay informed, and stay conservative. The Conservative Viewpoint starts right now. Hi, everybody. Vic, what's going on, girl? Lee, what's happening, man? Alan, how you doing, Alan? Daniel. All right. See, there's John. What's going on, John? Man, got a hell of a show going on here tonight, guys. Let me put my information back up here. For those who are new to the show, welcome, for one. There's all my information right there for you guys so that you can stop by and like, subscribe, all that stuff. Share my videos, all the live streams, everything that you can do for me so we can spread the word to people, because November 5th, my nose itches, is coming right up around the corner, guys. I mean, we've got to do what we can do to keep people aware of what's going on. Today's show is going to bring some light into, hey, Mark, what's going on, man? To people's heads. Friend of mine, she got me some information about the Steelers Stadium. William, how you doing, man? Also, we got something I'm going to start off with these two, with the Acrisure Stadium in Pittsburgh and the nuclear power plant. And we're going to get started off with these ones. Once we start seeing some more people coming in. There's Kurt. What's going on, Kurt? You are here. What the heck? But I got so much stuff to go over tonight, guys, and it's just every day I wake up and I go through these articles and I listen to the TV, and I think that's a lot of my problem here, because I'm seeing the world has gone crazy. These past 4 years have been a reckoning and should be an eye-opener for people to see how we go from a calm world, and I'm saying world, not just a nation, because in our nation, in our country, we had very minimal people crossing our border. Trump had it down to a minimal number. These people are letting it explode. We had wars stopped. You had your mild skirmishes, but you'll never stop something that's a 100-year war. There's always going to be the mild skirmishes, but you didn't have wars. Now look what we have. We've got wars all over the place, wars getting ready to start, wars that we have been involved in, but people want to blow smoke up people's asses and tell people that we're not, which we have been. And the lies that come out and permeate out of this administration's mouth is beyond unbelievable. And this is the kind of stuff that we have to wake people up to. And it's all the truth. And I'm not just saying that because it is a fact. And if anyone doubts it, please ask me a question. If you doubt anything that I'm saying, ask me a question and I will prove to you how much things were better under Trump. But I doubt it because we won't get idiot liberals on here because they're too scared because they don't want to know the truth. They want to believe the lies that are being told to them because they think they have a better life over it, which they don't. Crime is through the roof. Mental illness is through the roof. The deceit from the government is way gone. It's so much. It's the tyranny above tyranny. I don't even know if there's a worse word than tyranny. And that if there is, that's what it would be. So this is stuff that we've got to wake up people to. Please share my videos. Check me out on Wipkin, especially Wipkin.com. We have the best people in, hey, Tammy, the best people in chat. We get involved. We get discussions going, even if it's not about this. They'll talk about other stuff. They'll talk about other people's shows. I talk about the Rebel Chicks show and everything. And we got Jerry Kruger's show and William Lockett's, he puts on, he shows movies and stuff. And we got so many people that does all this stuff. And they come back to other people's shows. And they do discussions and they share stuff. And that's what it's all about, guys. Getting your voices out there because your voice matters. Your vote matters. And that's why we have to save this nation so we can continue to have a voice. Because once the Democrats steal this election again, our voices are gone. There is no doubt in my mind that is the destruction of the freedom of speech is going to erode in a heartbeat. So that's what we've got to look. Hey, I saw Sean in there. There's Sean. What's going on? I sent you a link on X just before the show. Illegals admitting that they were registered and voting. I did see that. I did not get that. But, yeah, I wish I would have. We could have showed that. But, well, yeah, because I remember they were on camera telling them that they are registered to vote. And they're going to vote for Harris because they're getting there. Hi, Joan. What's going on, Joan? There's Dennis. Dennis, I got you on this one, man. Just wait. You see, here in a second. Now, I got to get back to my screen here because which one are we going to do first? I got to see which one I put up there first. All right, first we're going to do this one. And Dennis, you'll be interested in this one. And you guys have, I don't know if all you guys have heard of Acrisure Stadium. I did hear that too, Jerry, and I'll mention what Jerry just said. And hi, Jerry. President Trump announces he will be meeting with President Zelensky tomorrow morning at Trump Tower in New York to discuss ending the war with Russia. If this happens, it will end the election. It'll be over. Trump will just destroy Kamala Harris. If he can end this war prior to getting in, it's over with. Sorry, folks. We'll still have to get out and vote. Don't get me wrong. But we got to get out and vote even more. If Trump can end this war that the Democrats and the demented Joe Biden and Kamala Harris started, it's a game changer right there, period. Nancy Pelosi is a little problem because her husband sold Visa stock one day before. You know what, Jerry? They've been doing this for years, and nobody does a damn thing. And it seems like every time they know right when to sell off, and they make a shit ton of money. Nothing ever gets done about it. All right, where are we at here? Make sure nobody else is here. I saw Daniel, Dennis. Okay, let's get on with this one, guys. I've been yapping enough. I guess that's what I do, right? Okay. Anyway, FEMA has picked 4 NFL stadiums to serve as disaster shelters. Wonder why I'm bringing this up. We're kind of starting off what we did yesterday with the oh shit. Let me get back here so I can remember the mass. What did I say yesterday's show on the show yesterday? Damn it! Let me get down here and see where I'm at now. I'm losing my marbles here, people. The mass casualty event. Remember, we were talking about that. Just so happens this comes up now. They got 4 stadiums for disaster shelters. Here's a plan for extreme weather. That's the way they're putting it. Yet. Now, the 4 stadiums include Pittsburgh Stadium, Acrisure Stadium. Let me get to the right one here so I can get them all here. Then they're talking about these stadiums will usually be like tornadoes, flooding. The essentials will be turned into emergency shelters and hospitals, and all different kind of emergencies. Emergencies. That's what they're saying. All right, where does it go? I just read it. Okay, here we go. The 4 venues are Mission Venue Ready, it's called. Locations are Acrisure Stadium in Pittsburgh, MetLife Stadium in New Jersey, Lumo Field in Seattle, and Raymond James Stadium in Tampa. These are the 4 stadiums that they're going with for these emergency disaster shelters. Just seems funny how this comes along right now when all this other stuff that when we broke this news yesterday about the mass casualty event going to happen within our government, and now this stuff's come. I got a friend of mine, and she let me know about this, and she had a friend that went there for training for this. It was not about CPR and first aid. She's going to give some more information, and she's going to get back to me on this if she can get some more information on it. But she let me know about this. And on top of, now I'm going to show you this 30-second video real quick. And it had, I got to shut my banner off here. If you guys need my information, I'll put it up later. But I'm going to let you see what else she sent me with this. And, I mean, you can think for yourselves. Take a look at this. The first one is U.S. lawmakers plan a possible mass casualty event, proposing a constitutional amendment to replace members quickly and change various lines of succession in a national crisis. Doesn't that seem funny? Now, this one, I would hazard to guess around 70 members of Congress and their staff members are about to be arrested, including Schiff and Swalwell. And if I'm right, when they are arrested and the grand jury indictments are unsealed, each one of these members are going to meet all doggone it. And let me go fast back again for this on the last part. And it's only 30 seconds. I read it slower than that and made it through it. I don't know what happened. So we'll get to the next one here. And I'll finish that one off if we didn't get to read it. And if I'm right, if they are arrested and the grand jury indictments are unsealed, each one of these members are going to need to be replaced in U.S. Congress. Ask me why I think that. Okay, but John Rich says, anyone care to theorize what exactly this post means? Doesn't that just seem funny that we broke this story yesterday about the mass casualty event, and all of a sudden all this is coming up, right? On top of that, and I hope this one's right. Let me get rid of this one. Let me make sure I named this right. Just before you ordered to testify to the House. That is not it. Where the hell did it go? Okay. I put it in the wrong spot. But on top of this now, did you guys hear about Microsoft has bought 3 Mile Island in Pittsburgh? It is a nuclear power plant that had a disaster back in the 70s. Let me take a look at this video and we'll come back and talk about it. Take a look.
There's a new plan to power up a reactor at the site of this country's worst commercial nuclear disaster. A partial meltdown happened here in 1979 at Pennsylvania's 3 Mile Island nuclear plant. Here's CBS's Michael George.
It was the first step in a nuclear nightmare.
March 28, 1979. On the CBS Evening News, Walter Cronkite broke the news to the nation. There was a partial meltdown at the 3 Mile Island nuclear plant.
It's probably the worst nuclear reactor accident to date.
45 years later, it remains the worst commercial nuclear disaster in U.S. history, damaging the industry for decades. The remaining functional reactor at the site was last used 5 years ago. It shut down because it was losing money. Yesterday, the plant's current owner, Constellation Energy, announced it will spend $1.6 billion to restart that reactor. It's part of a 20-year deal to provide power to Microsoft data centers. Those centers power the company's growing artificial intelligence programs. Constellation says the plant meets the growing demand for clean, zero-carbon energy and will create thousands of jobs, saying in a statement, "This plant was among the safest and most reliable nuclear plants on the grid, and we look forward to bringing it back."
Nuclear power has a great safety record.
Nuclear energy expert Professor Anna Erickson says demand for energy is exploding, in part due to AI.
AI requires energy that is 24/7. And the nuclear power is one of the best sources to provide that consistent need for energy.
The reactor isn't expected to be online until 2028, and it first has to earn approval from the U.S. Nuclear Regulatory Commission. Nancy?
Michael George, thank you.
Now, doesn't that seem funny? What the hell does Microsoft need a nuclear power plant? They're using it as to power their stuff? How's that going to do that from Pittsburgh? I was texting something here, but I've got to look down through here because I missed a lot of stuff by doing all those things here. TMI is by Harrisburg. My husband worked. Middleton, PA. Oh shit! I deleted the article on there. Too soon. I deleted it too soon. But why does Microsoft need to make? Why would a tech company want to get invested into a nuclear power plant that had a nuclear spill? Could have been the worst disaster everywhere. That just makes no sense to me with everything that's going on. It just seems awful funny, don't you think? With everything that we're talking about, the disaster buildings in the stadium and all this stuff that's going on, just seems awful funny that all this stuff's going on all of a sudden. What is this one? And I can't see this one. We're looking for voting ambassadors to talk to their friends about Kamala Harris and Tim Walz with a $200 stipend. Want to join? Oh, what the hell is that from? I don't know. Where's that from? Someone, young daughter, got this from Kamala Harris. Well, I can believe that one, Jerry. So it seems funny that all this stuff's going on after we talked about the mass killing that they were talking about. So I wouldn't let that Psycho Gates anywhere near a nuclear power plant. Ain't no doubt, Rowdy. How you doing, Rowdy? But this is just the stuff that just seems a little fishy that's going on. And right in the middle of all this, right before an election, doesn't it think? Oh, yeah. All right, let's get on with the regular show now. Let me find it here. Where am I going to start, bro? Oh, okay. I've got one more video to show you, and this is a special treat from our friends down under on Lefties Are Losing It, and we're going to have two of those today. So take a look at this first one. This first one's a little long, well worth the watch. Take a look.
It's time for Lefties Losing It, and I regret to inform you that Kamala Harris has sat down for an interview with a leftist activist masquerading as a journalist. We'll have the top 3 moments from that shortly, but first, the Veep seems determined to produce more content for Trump ads. How long before this appears in the next campaign ad for Donald Trump?
We just need to move past the failed policies that we have proven don't work.
Some of the highlights, or should that be lowlights, of that interview. Here are Kamala's top 3 moments. This is exciting. The VP has learned a new word. Here she repeats that word 3 times in 13 seconds. See if you can guess what it is.
Looking holistically at the connection between that and housing, and looking holistically at the incentives we in the federal government can create for local and state governments to actually engage in planning in a holistic manner.
Here, Kamala attempts to answer a simple question about her economic policies. Does not go well.
For those who say these policies aren't for me, what do you say to them?
Well, if you are hardworking, if you have the dreams and the ambitions and the aspirations of what I believe you do, you're in my plan. You know, I have to tell you, I really love and am so energized by what I know to be the spirit and character of the American people. We have ambition, we have aspirations, we have dreams.
Yes, she loves empty platitudes, and the vacuousness did not end there, and neither did the lies, including this whopper.
Polling shows that most likely voters still think Donald Trump is better to handle the economy. Why do you think that is?
Well, here's what I know in terms of the facts. Donald Trump left us with the worst economy since the Great Depression when you look at, for example, the employment numbers.
It was during COVID, and employment was so high because we shut down the government, we shut down the country.
Even before the pandemic, he lost manufacturing jobs by most people's estimates, at least 200,000.
Now, that is an absolute lie. One so big that even CNN has called it out. Indeed, Trump had added hundreds of thousands of manufacturing jobs before COVID. He'd not lost them. From the beginning of his presidency in January 2017 through February 2020, just before the pandemic crash, 414,000 new manufacturing jobs were created.
This is what I'm talking about. The lies and bullshit that come out of their mouth is unbelievable. Exactly, Chad. It always happens at election time. And this is what pisses me off, because we have no way of confronting these people and putting it out there to them. You know, if we had a voice on mainstream and prime time, people could confront these if they had the balls enough to do it, confront them and call out their lies, but nobody will do it. And that is what needs to happen. We need to get the lies brought out. And it's never going to happen. We need to find a way to do it. But I did get my tickets for Trump's rally. The gates open at 10 o'clock and it starts at 5. So I'm going to try to do a little live stream from up there if I get enough cell service to do it from my phone on October 5th. But I'll let you know when it gets closer. But I did schedule my tickets, and they used my email as my ticket. So I just did that earlier. So I didn't know if you got that, Dennis, or not. So I'm going to hope to be there around 10 o'clock because it's going to be a long day up there to try to get in probably. But we'll have to see what happens. Okay. Where are we going at next? Trump says Iranian president is being guarded at the UN while plotting assassination. A strange set of circumstances, don't you think? And I think I got one here. Let me go back and see. Let me see. In Butler. You want to go, Chad? Let me go back here. Yes, here we go. Take a look at this about the Iranian plotting an assassination by Trump. Take a listen.
As you know, there have been 2 assassination attempts on my life that we know of, and they may or may not involve, but possibly do, Iran. But I don't really know, can't be sure, because in the first case in Butler, Pennsylvania, great place, and we're going back to Butler, by the way. We're going to go back and finish our speech.
Now, you see that? That's like crazy. And the man's tough as hell. that he can go and do this. And if he can do it, I'm definitely going to get my ass up and get out there. We'll talk later, Chad. I'm definitely going to do a live show out there. If we can get Dennis out there and other people out there that can join me on the show while we do it, we'll stand there. Hopefully we can get close enough to the stage, and we'll try to do something while we're up there. Best economy in my lifetime was exactly when Trump was in there. People don't understand that this everything was better under Trump. We'll figure it out, Charlie. Looking forward to it. Sounds good to me. She would not survive all the electrical currents. I don't think Trump should do any more public outings. Sometimes I think you're right, Tammy, but I think it's a point that he's trying to make, that he's a tough son of a bitch. And let's hope it doesn't get him killed in the meantime, because this country's over if he dies. They will suicide anyone they use to attack Trump. Oh, yeah, Jerry, you right there. You cannot do a live show at a Trump rally. Well, why is that, Vic? But all right, wait a minute. We're going to get into this. I'm losing track here. Let me get rid of this one here, and we'll get to this next one. Donald Trump said if Kamala Harris actually owns a gun, because remember when she stated that she has a gun, her and Walz have guns, and if somebody broke into her house, she'd shoot them on Oprah Winfrey. Well, Trump said she should say what kind of gun it is to prove that she has a gun. And we know it's a lie, because all she keeps saying is she wants to take our guns. Well, that ain't going to happen. What is this one? Let me check and see. And I remember I named these. Oh, yeah. This was Kamala Harris on guns. Take a look.
Oh, at the debate.
I'm a gun owner. Tim Walz is a gun.
I did not know that.
If somebody breaks in my house, they're getting shot.
Yes. I hear that. I hear that.
Probably should not have said that. But my staff will deal with that later. I'll tell you the number of young people who, our kids had active shooter drills. They're concerned that there might be somebody who would kill them while they are at school. This is not the sign of a civil society, and it doesn't have to be this way. It does not have to be this way.
They caused it. They've caused the mental illness that has come out in these people in the past 4 years. You have never seen so much mentally ill people coming out of the woodwork like you've seen in these past 4 years. Really? I did not know that. And how does the news people stream all their stuff? I'm going to find out when we get up there. We'll see what happens when we get up there. If I can, I can. If I can't, I can't. Once you are inside the main area and past the checkpoints, they scramble your phones. You cannot make a call. Really? Okay. Well, we'll see what happens. I'm going to be up there. I'm going to do what I can do when we get there. We'll see what happens. Hello, everyone. What's going on, Rogue? All right, where are we at? Where are we at next? We got DOJ. This is the good one here. DOJ Inspector General does not deny FBI informants were in the crowd on January 6th. They were questioning him about this, and this is Horowitz we're talking about. And I'm going to let you watch this one. It's a little longer too, but this is definitely him being questioned on what really happened on January 6th. Think we're going to get an answer? Take a look.
But now that you've restarted it, do you have evidence of the number of confidential human sources that were operating on the Capitol grounds on January 6th?
Our report will include the information in that regard.
Can you tell us today how many there were? Were there more than 100?
I'm not in a position to say that, both because it's in draft form and we have not gone through the classification review. And so I need to be careful on what I say.
So we're 4 years in. The reason to do these reports, I think, is so we don't make this, if there were any mistakes, not to make the same mistakes again. But we are just weeks away from the inauguration. We're 4 years, almost 4 years into this report. When is it going to be released?
It's certainly my hope and expectation, although I don't control this entirely because it has to go through a classification review, but certainly in the next couple of months is my hope.
Do you think, is there any consideration for the election about the release of this report? Would you delay it in order to not release it right before the election?
At this point, given the process that has to play out in terms of classification review and all of that, I'm not making any, I don't have to make any judgment about that. We're still, that still has to go on. Just to give you a sense of it, when I did the Pfizer review,
you're saying it's not even going to be done in time for before the election?
It doesn't, I doubt it would be done in time for the election.
Is it going to be done before the inauguration?
That is certainly my hope.
It's your hope. We're 4 years into it, and we know what we do know is you're going to expose that there were confidential human sources at the Capitol. Can you tell us today how many went into the Capitol?
I'll have that information in the report. I'm not able to speak to information in there, both because it's in draft and we get a response from the department and the FBI, but also because I don't know yet what's classified and not classified.
So if they broke the law, if they went into the Capitol, which we pretty much know there were confidential human sources who went into the Capitol and right there alongside of everybody else, wouldn't they need to follow DOJ CHS protocols? And do you know if those were followed?
They should follow CHS protocols, and again, we'll include that information in the report.
Do you know how many were reimbursed for travel?
As I sit here, I don't recall the number.
You see the no answer answers from these people. This sounds like Christopher Wray being questioned. Not going to answer that on ongoing investigations. We haven't went through the classified process 4 fucking years, and they have not went through the classified information. Why the hell is he there? If he can't answer a question, what's the purpose? He's not giving us any information that we need. And this is the patheticness that we get when they go over this stuff. We know there was informants in there. We know there was like 200 because Christopher Wray wouldn't deny it either. And this is pathetic. Hey, John Blackfeather, how's it going, man? It is not at all the blame goes on the Democrats. The main blame goes on the liberals for voting for the Democrats. Exactly right, John. That's for sure. And this is just ridiculous. Pants on fire. Hey, Jeff. Yes. And Dennis says, never seen anyone dance so much while they're sitting down. Isn't that the truth? This is what we get every time they do this. You can only use your camera, video camera. You can only use your camera, video camera. You will not get a signal. They scramble all phones within the radius once Trump arrives. They keep media into certain areas. You will have to have a real video camera or use your phone. I went 2 weeks before the first attempt. Well, I'm going to have my phone. I'm going to take an extra battery backup because just in case, but maybe I could get one in before he actually comes in. We'll see what happens. I'm going to get something. It's going to be exciting just to be there. This will be my second one I went to. I went back in 2016 when he ran and stuff to one that was local. Why do they even bother with these worthless hearings? No one gives the truth. Exactly, Tammy. That's what I mean. You never get the answers at all. There's no purpose of them even being there when you get, well, we can't comment on that because classified or ongoing investigations, and it's worthless. I don't even understand why they do that stuff. All right. Oops, let me check down here. I got some information here. Waste your taxpayer dollars. Exactly right, Chad. Hi, Becky. All right, well, let's move on to the next one here. My mouse is getting all messed. 10 Democrats vote with GOP to rebuke Biden's official over chaotic Afghanistan withdrawal. We know it was bad. We know it was a disaster. We had 13 service members killed for no reason. They do nothing but waste taxpayer dollars. Exactly right, Rogue. And this is why it's got to stop. I don't know what else we can do. Every day we find a reason to vote Republican, vote Trump into office, get the country back into track. We'll work on it after the 4 years as Trump's done. Let him get things back into shape on the right track. Get people making money and get these liberals a little bit of money back in their paychecks if they even work. Hell, half of them probably don't even work. They probably live off the government. Take a look at this short video about these 10 Democrats that chose to actually do something right with the Republicans. Take a look.
Secretary of State Antony Blinken brought this upon himself. I take no joy in this procedure. After months of the Secretary ignoring countless requests for his testimony, I was forced to subpoena him to discuss the findings of my report into the catastrophic withdrawal from Afghanistan. Secretary Blinken violated that subpoena and refused to appear. And now I have no choice but to move forward with holding him in contempt of Congress.
Now you see that at the bottom of the screen on that picture, you'll see all the names that I had to paste them onto that strip, that clip on there, to show you who the 10 were that actually, I mean, it passed, but 10 Democrats did something right. Probably won't ever see that again. All right, this next one is Biden administration's hit with a FOIA suit for you idiot liberals out there. That's the Freedom of Information Act for seeking the 25th Amendment related comments. And the 25th Amendment covers the pertaining to presidential's disability and succession, right? Take a look at this real quick. I got to get rid of that one because I'll play that one again. About this 25th Amendment FOIA suit. Take a look.
A source of mine told me that somebody who's very close to the Biden family, that what's going on is sort of a palace coup. That's the way they described it, where we're seeing the upper echelons of the Democratic Party sort of setting up President Biden to fail. And this person I spoke to said that they knew he would fail at the debate, where he sort of froze and lost his train of thought. And I mean, it's really car crash of a debate against Donald Trump. This was all a setup, according to the person I spoke to. Again, somebody who's close to the Biden family. And they threatened Biden, who apparently is not well, with the 25th Amendment. So the 25th Amendment essentially says that the vice president and members of the cabinet can ask the president to step down in a situation like this. And that was sort of the coup de grace. After that, Biden agreed to go forward with the letter, which this person, again, close to the Biden family, says he did not sign. It was an electronic signature. It all went up on Twitter. It was sort of a bombshell resignation of Biden from the presidential race. And then, the endorsement of Kamala Harris came. So that's essentially it. This was a setup that was set up months before the Democratic Party knew Tuesday that he would be making this statement on Sunday. I was actually warned ahead of time that this was coming, but I thought, maybe that's not going to happen. But it did, exactly as my source said it would.
Now, you would think these people threatened him, and it's been all over the news and everything, that they were threatening him to get him out of the thing. So if they were threatening him with it, they obviously believe that he has a mental illness or a medical condition. So why the hell is he still in office? Does that make sense to you? Hey, Mago. What's going on, man? Yes, Dennis, the Republicans are either gutless or complicit or both. Most definitely. Humpty Dumpty and Jamie Redass have got to go. And you right, Kurt, there. They most definitely got to go. We have no Republicans. It's one party of pure evil. Oh, that's no doubt there. All politicians suck. Period. Yes, Tammy, that would be great if they started that. Hoping for the Patriot Party, America First. I wish they would start that. You know how many people would go over to that party? I don't even know what you got to do to start that kind of stuff, to make a new party. We should look into that. Walz has officially signed up all the illegals for photo driver's licenses today. I did hear something about that, but I wasn't sure if that was real or not, Pat, but thank you for mentioning that. And I did read that I didn't read the whole article about that power plant. So, yes, thank you for clarifying that for me about where it was at. Not Pittsburgh. It was South Central of Pennsylvania. Yes. Thank you, guys. Right. But they wouldn't have had enough people to sign that off for the 25th. But the Democrats are the ones that are pushing that thing. That's what I don't get. Okay, let's get through some of these here, ones we don't need. Joe Biden said that he has delegated everything to Kamala Harris, foreign policy and domestic policies. What good is that? His policies have been failures for 50 plus years that he's been in the government. So people think that's a good thing, that he's delegating all this stuff to her. He has caused nothing but problems since he's been in government. And now we find out he's been taking money from our enemies and other countries. His son in the Russian disinformation on his computer. Oh, man. And people think this is a good thing. Why would you want to follow the coattails of Joe Biden? Take a look at this video.
Comrade Kamala's going to try to shy away from Sleepy Joe in the debate tonight. But she just got caught copy-pasting his policies. 7 weeks after Harris was crowned the Dem nominee, she finally put policies on her campaign website. But the New Republic is highlighting how much of the language was lifted from Joe Biden's campaign website, including material that literally calls for people to re-elect Joe Biden. Some Democrats are getting tired of Kamala's hesitance to throw her boss under the bus. New York Magazine bluntly says, quote, Kamala Harris should cut Joe loose.
Now, this is the fact, too. And it shows it right on her page. And you can take it, you can see what they took it from Joe Biden's page and put it right onto hers. So it's all failed so-called policies that she won't even talk about. So that is a big downfall right there. But people won't even see that. And that's a big problem, too. All right, guys, it's time for Lefties Losing It again.
Donald J. Trump is now president of the United States. President Obama.
Now, you have to give Charlie Kirk credit here. Not only does he go to college campuses and seeks to have dialogue with lefties, but he manages to keep his cool and his manners, even when the lefties are as obnoxious and odious as this next dude who asks him what drug he's going to overdose on if Trump loses.
When Kamala wins and when you go into manic spirals, everything you've worked for crumbles around you, what illicit drugs are you going to overdose on?
So if Trump wins, what are you going to do to yourself?
I don't know, probably move to the Netherlands. I don't want to deal with them. Can you answer the question, though? Snowflake?
I hope that Trump...
Answer the question, Snowflake.
I hope Trump wins. Kamala might win.
Answer the question,
Let me tell you what happens.
Coward.
So let me tell you what happens. If Kamala Harris wins, which she might, unlike you, I will not flee my country. I will go back to work the next day if Kamala Harris wins. And you might be right. Kamala might win. It might be too much. But I'll be able to look my daughter and my son in the eye and say I did everything I possibly could to make sure that this country remained free and prosperous for you guys and that I gave it all on the line.
Good luck with that, buddy. Kamala sweep! Kamala sweep!
See, this is what happens when you don't discipline your children. Imagine hiring that dude one day.
This is what you get when you indoctrinate kids and not educate them. Right there. The mental illness is crazy, and it's running rampant right on our college campuses. Now, is that the most pathetic? That's why I like Charlie Kirk. And he gets into these kids, and they don't even want to listen. You heard the kid right there. He said he's going to kill himself just because Trump got into office. What a fucking idiot. All right. Now we got our puppets back. Alex Soros. Oh, yeah. We got the Soros here. Aaron's in the house. I didn't see that. I missed that. There's Aaron. What's going on, Aaron? Yo, Walls is a freaking, he's a creep, man. They're probably having more of a problem with Jill Biden and getting her to stand aside. Exactly right, MAGA. She's the one that's behind all this anyways. Getting her to stand aside. Kamala can be president. Well, these two, Kamala and Walls, are puppets of Soros. Alex Soros, Georgia's son, huddles with Tim Walz in a meeting in New York City apartment. Alex Soros publicized a photo with Vice President Kamala Harris only weeks ago. Take a look at this video right here.
Well, Alexander Soros, key in on that last name, the son of liberal billionaire George Soros, met with Vice President Kamala Harris earlier this week. Senator Marsha Blackburn reacted to the meeting saying, quote, "It's laughable that the left wants you to believe that the Soros family has no influence in politics." Matt Palumbo, author of Man Behind the Curtain, joins me now. So how deep, Matt, is the Soros influence in the Democratic Party?
Well, I argue that he has more influence in the Biden administration, really, than any other administration. And, you know, and
by the way, when you say he, you're referring both to George and his son?
Both George and the son.
This is why this man that needs to take his blood money. Nah, don't even take the blood money. Just boot his ass out of our country like he was booted out of his. And don't let him come back. That man needs to go. He is the problem. He's already went around all the clearances and everything he needed to buy these radio stations. This is what's going. This is the corruption that's going around our world. And if we don't get Trump in office, this man's going to help keep destroying it, because now I guarantee he is the puppet master behind everything that's going on in the Democrat Party. That's where the money's coming from. All right, guys, it is time for the question of the week. Now, this question could have, I made it a little tougher, I think, could have two answers. I am looking for one. Remember, do not put the answer out in chats. It has to be emailed to me at Conservative Viewpoint or message to me. I get timestamps on both. So I want one answer from somebody, and it's got to be the right answer, because this could have two. And don't let me down, guys. I still got a lot of mugs to hand out. Take a look. There you go, guys. What are the Democrats worried about the most? Send me an email, send me a message, and I'll check them later, and we'll find out if we get a winner. Don't let me down, guys. All right. Now we've got the NYPD is worried about the bloodthirsty Venezuelan gangs as it forms base in Sanctuary City. Okay, guys, I got a video on that one. Take a look.
The violent Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua, or TDA, has hundreds of associates citywide. I spoke to the NYPD's Chief of Patrol, John Schell. He says going after this gang is a top priority. Not only are they citywide, but they are operating inside the city's migrant shelters, like this one behind me. The gang is not only recruiting new members inside the shelters, but it's also selling drugs, particularly a new drug called Tussie, or pink cocaine, and it's smuggling guns inside the shelters, inside food cartons. Now, what makes this gang particularly dangerous is a few things. One, this is a gang that's full of members that are really unknown to the NYPD and to much of U.S. law enforcement. The other thing that makes them particularly dangerous, this is a gang that is not only citywide, but it runs the gamut as to the types of crimes that they specialize in. The NYPD busted a 24-hour brothel, a migrant brothel in the heart of Queens, New York. The NYPD says this brothel is associated with the TDA gang, and it is just one example of how they are prostituting migrant women, extorting them, because these women have to pay off debts to the coyotes for bringing them illegally. The gang has spread nationwide. We're talking about reported gang activity in 14 different states, in 10 different cities. But here in New York City, perhaps the most frustrating thing for the NYPD is that they are unable, by law, it is illegal for them to contact ICE because of the city's sanctuary laws. That means some of the worst criminal offenders, including accused murderers, are not often being deported.
This is the problem we got because of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, the border czar herself, allowing this stuff to happen. And this is why we have to stop all this. They are eating their own. Will commence shortly. At least the TBE domestic animals will be safe. Yeah, hopefully, huh? Say something to take care of it. Something's got to take care of this, because that's a loaded question, huh, Vic? It could have a couple different ones, but I've mentioned it before over and over again. And I kind of gave you a clue already. So I don't want to give it away, but oh yeah, send in the angels. Oh, most definitely, Chad. You get the angels in there, they'll take, especially if it's their town. Yeah, so I gave you guys a kind of a clue already. So with the answer to that question, so let's see if you guys can get it. Email me, message me, whatever. I'll check whatever I get, and I'll let you know if you got it or not. All right, we got the NYPD crackdown. Okay, and I think I added this. Let me take this off. Yeah, I added this with a Salvadorian migrant caught and released at the border, arrested for murdering his girlfriend in Maryland. This dude was already put out of here for murder before, and they let him back in. But, you know, this isn't the first time this did happen. Take a look.
Tonight, 2 Venezuelan migrants are under arrest in Houston, charged with murdering 12-year-old Jocelyn Nungaray.
Please step away. My firstborn. I was a teen mom. She's who helped me grow, mature.
Immigration authorities say the suspects crossed the border illegally earlier this year and were released into the U.S. by the Border Patrol. Police say the men strangled Jocelyn and dumped her body in a creek. Her mother is devastated.
Nobody deserves to lose a child. No one deserves to bury their child. It's hard.
Just days ago, another undocumented immigrant from Ecuador was arrested in New York City, accused of raping a 13-year-old girl in broad daylight. And last week, an undocumented immigrant from El Salvador was arrested in Oklahoma. Police say he raped and murdered Rachel Morin, a mother of 5 from Maryland.
I just want to take this time to thank all of the law enforcement for all their hard work.
Former President Trump blames the Biden administration's border policies.
This monster should never have been allowed into our country, and if I was president, he would never have been able to come in.
Still, studies suggest immigrants are actually less likely to commit crimes than U.S.-born citizens. And an NBC News review of available 2024 crime data shows overall crime levels dropping in cities that have received the most migrants. The Biden.
Now you see that shit from NBC, and we all know the crime has went through the roof, and we've already proven it. And this is what you get from the lame news, fake ass, dumb media, people like MSNBC, NBC, ABC, all those idiots. That is the problem we have because of Kamala Harris and the bloodbath border crisis that we've got going on. I'm not going to show that one either. Now we'll get in just a little bit into the mayor. But first, we're going to talk about the UN. The UN have a strange feeling about the U.S. presidential race. They're worried about Trump getting back in office because when he was back in office, they made every country pay their share of, what do you want to call it, protection of the money that we put into the UN for this stuff. But guess what? We already got, and we saw it, UN in our country. And I think I might have some more stuff on that tomorrow, but we saw it on, and I think Jerry's show brought that stuff up about the UN. And tonight, he had it on there about all these 150,000, I think, U.S. military members in our country. What the hell's up with that? I think that has to do with the same. Wasn't it 150,000, Jerry? I think it was. Yeah, dude, the prostitutes of X are nasty as hell. You're not kidding. That's for sure. End sanctuary cities and get them bastards. That's what Trump said he's going to do, Lee. He said he's going to end it, period. Thanks, Dennis. Who said that I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore? All right. But you see what's going on with the mayor of New York and all that stuff. Of course, they're going to indict him. Supposedly, he's going to turn himself in next week. But supposedly, and I know Vic showed this on her show yesterday, part of this guy, I don't remember if it was the same thing or not, but I'm going to show this guy because he's straight up talking. Now, listen to him.
It's bigger than Diddy, bro. Because you know who else they was doing investigation on during that whole time period? It was the mayor and the politicians in New York City.
Man, that guy's straight up. And I know Vic showed that yesterday. So there's just so much going on with this. It's unreal. Now, on another Democrat-run side, the explosion at the California courthouse. Take a look at this real quick.
We're learning at least 6 people were hurt after an explosion at the Santa Maria courthouse. Authorities say a suspect is in custody. Happened this morning about 9. Those hurt are said to have non-life-threatening injuries. Investigators believe an explosive device was intentionally set. The blast prompted the immediate evacuation and closure of the entire complex and other city buildings nearby.
The security lady that runs the front door, and she was there as and described that the individual just came in the door, threw a backpack into the courthouse, and then it exploded right next to one of the individuals that was in there.
That witness said he saw what looked like a sweater smoldering and a man screaming while 4 or 5 people got on top of him to keep him restrained. Authorities say that the scene remains active and the suspect is still being interviewed.
Hello.
Now, just love having all this mess going on is running in Democrat-run cities. Doesn't that seem funny when Republicans don't have this kind of problem in nearly any of our states, but Democrats do? Look what's going on in New York, and now you got this one in California. It's so pathetic. It's unbelievable what's going on, the lawlessness of these Democrats. All right, guys, with all this said and done, because most of these problems with the mass shootings and all that stuff and these bombings and everything, bringing up mental illness, this is what the Democrats have brought out. And now they're saying our screens, like our monitors or TV screens, and parents to blame for the teens' mental illness crisis. There is a major mental illness crisis in this country. Don't know what we're going to do about it unless we get Trump back into office. But I want to give you 10 signs to watch out for with your kids, other people's kids, and mental illness, because it needs to help, and we can be aware of it if we watch what's going on. Take a look at this real quick.
Truest words I've ever spoken. 24/7, I'm always open to negativity. I'm filled with emotion. Too many people scar in silence. Self-medicate at the button up license. They need help. SOS crisis. All they've ever needed is help and guidance. Why is no one on the planet listening? Unless it's gold, white, silver, or glistening. I can barely.
Now you gotta watch. I was getting down to the music in there. I wasn't even paying attention. This is the kind of stuff we need to keep our eyes open for, because this is what's happening right now. This is a fact. No matter what, the mental illness is going through the roof. And I tell you what, our friends down under on Lefties Losing It shows a lot of the mental illness that's available. You saw it in the one today with this college kid asking Kurt what he should kill himself with. That is a fact on proven progressivism. Oh, yeah, progressivism. Man, I can't even say it, Dennis, is a mental illness. Everything is a mental illness right now. People waking up and thinking there's somebody they're not, or something that they're not, is a mental illness. All right, guys, I want to thank you for joining me tonight on The Conservative Viewpoint. We had a great time, great discussions, and I've got a hell of a show already lined up for tomorrow. As soon as we get off of here, I'm going to line up the articles for me. Then I'm going to crash and get up in the morning and get my videos together and stuff. But I want to thank you guys for joining me. You guys are awesome in chat. Thank you in Facebook chat, Chad, Becky, everybody on Rumble, on X. You guys got to join in more into the chat. But you guys, thank you for tuning in. And as far as that goes, guys, I am going to leave you with this. As we wrap up tonight's episode of The Conservative Viewpoint, let's take a moment to reflect on the whirlwind of chaos we've dissected. From the border crisis to the erosion of our freedoms, it's clear that our world has gone mad. But amidst the madness, there's hope. There's a growing movement of Americans who are ready to stand up and speak out and reclaim our nation, and that would be us. We have exposed the truth behind the headlines, challenged the mainstream narratives, and given a voice to the silent majority. We've discussed the policies that are failing us and the leaders who are letting us down. But most importantly, we've shared solutions, real actions, steps that can bring us back from the brink. So remember, this isn't just a podcast, it's a movement to restore sanity, uphold our values, and secure a brighter future for our children and our grandchildren. Each one of us have a role to play in this fight, whether it's voting, volunteering, or simply staying informed. Every action counts. So as we sign off tonight, I urge you to stay vigilant, stay engaged, and stay conservative. Together, we can navigate through this craziness and emerge stronger on the other side. Thank you for tuning in. We will see you tomorrow night on The Conservative Viewpoint. This has been Charlie saying good night. See you tomorrow night, everyone. Have a great night. Thank you for tuning in. Yes, it did, Becky. Time goes too fast. But I will hopefully see you guys tomorrow night, guys.